My name is Nathan Vandy. I'm CEO and co-founder at Bond.Credit. And a little background on me. I worked in crypto for the past, say, 8 years and worked in credit for the past 3 years and at that radar for 2 years. And the reason why that's important is because my experience helped to converge to what we're building today at Bond.Credit. At TrueFi, a credit protocol that issued 1.7 billion, not million, billion worth of under collateralized credit. We saw the pain points of giving credit to off-chain entities. We actually gave money to Alameda. I don't know if you guys know Alameda. Yeah, yes, no. Anyway, yeah, that happened. And so I realized that there was this issue when you're giving credit to off-chain entities. The process of due diligence is slower. The monitoring is harder because the credit is off-chain. And as I mentioned, getting that money back can be very, very difficult. And whilst I was at that breeder, I was looking at the AI agent industry and realized that AI agents are always on chain, they are always live, and they actually make the best creditors that you can give. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today, the shift. The agentic economy is very, very real. Agents are already economic actors, they're exchanging value, they're managing capital, and they operate continuously. And Gartner projects the industry will grow to 15 to 30 trillion in 2030. And as my colleague mentioned beforehand, there are two areas in the agentic economy. The first and most prominent that everyone probably knows about is agentic commerce. And this really got light through OpenClaw, where you can have your own digital assistant making payments for you on Amazon, scheduling meetings and coordinating together. And X402 was a real unlock there. And on the other side, you have agentic finance. And this is the area that I'm really, really excited about. And it's when agents start to become risk curators. They start to manage capital and they optimize yield as well. And so we're going to go into a little bit about how we're not giving credit to agentic commerce agents. We're focused on this area right here, which I think is underrated right now. So the proof. There's already been a ton of AI agents in the space that are moving billions on chain and managing tens of millions. The AUM went all the way up to close to 225 million. And I'd like to actually ask the crowd a question. I don't know if anyone's super DeFi native here, but do you know what happened at this point here? Any keepers? Yeah, right here. XUSD depegged a little bit later on, but before this, JP Morgan crashed the market. Well, I'm not too sure if it was that actor, but yeah, this is called 1010. So this is October the 10th when the whole DeFi market crashed. And if you go to DeFi Llama, the TVL of DeFi fell from 164 billion to 145 billion in a day. So that's an 11% drop, right? And that's none of numbers. I know in crypto we're kind of we kind of don't look at numbers and it's not real to us because people think it's magic internet money, but that's a ton of money, right? And interestingly, if you look at the money managed by agents, there was a little bitty dip, but it wasn't 11%, right? That was around 1-2%. And so this was the first market-wide showcase of how agents are actually better curators than human curators. And I also want to point to here as well, where you got this massive dip, because as my friend Rohir mentioned, Stream Finance went down and their stablecoin went down with it. And interestingly, a few days after, the AUM of DeFi agents dropped a ton. And this wasn't actually agents mismanaging funds. This was actually curators that we know and use today, removing their money from AI agents to deal with their bad books that they built up from finance. And so you've got this amazing situation where even though agents AUM is a lot lower, they've shown that they're better at risk management than humans already. And so with this knowledge, I went about with my team to start to understand from an internal perspective so that we can start building up some historical data about how good these agents are. And while we were doing that, we noted a big drop in the borrowing rate for traditional lending markets. So we're talking about Aave, Morpho, Fluid. And if you look at the weighted average borrow size, it falls from around 10% at its peak to around 3%. And so what we're seeing is that as more stable coins come in the market with these regulatory tailwinds, such as the Genius Act and the MiCA and VAWA in Dubai, we're going to have a ton of stable coins coming on chain, and it's going to cause a compressing of the borrowing rates of lending your stable coins. And we looked at how the stablecoin yield agents, so these DeFi agents, were managing this drop in compressing rates. And the agents outperformed all of the lender markets. And one of the agents that we worked with actually outperformed the market by 100%. So even though you've got this yield compression on a macro in crypto, agents are still outperforming. And we believe they're going to continue to do so moving forward. And so all in all, you got these two sides where on one side, you've got agents that are better at risk management and are going to increasingly get better so with more data. And they're also better at managing capital as well. So what's the insight? We can observe these agents better than humans, but we don't lend to them. These agents are better than humans in both risk management and allocation, but we don't actually deposit money into them. And that's because there's a massive trust and credit issue. Most of the credit that's given to these agents are relationship driven between the teams. There's no way to enforce the credit that you give these agents on chain. There's no agent native infrastructure. And so agents can only get over collateralized credit right now. And if you know credit is a control problem. If you're able to observe someone's behavior, you're able to better understand the risk of giving them their capital. And the second point of credit is control, because sometimes, as I said, when we were working with some of these market makers and giving them capital at TrueFi, you need to have control mechanisms to enforce them giving back the money if they lose the money. And once you get those things, you can really unlock a lot of capital efficiency. And so I came up with this new concept where we look at capital efficiency and observable risk and enforceable control to better understand the paradigm shift that we're going to go through in DeFi when these agents start becoming more commonplace. And we're going to shift, and I'll go into it a little bit more, from asset-based lending to actor-based lending, where you can get more data about the actor that you're giving credit to, and by getting more data on it, you can understand the risk and therefore how to give them capital. And so we've got Aave and Morpho, who are more on the over collateralized side. I'm not too sure if you guys know Cap or 3Jane, but Cap uses the idle capital in their AUM and insurance to get more capital efficiency, and 3Jane starts to use a credit engine to start giving people capital. And what we're doing is we're creating a credit engine for agents so that they can get credit based on how they perform over time. And it's going to allow us to unlock a lot more capital efficiency than we've seen in DeFi ever before. And so DeFi without scalable credit rails stalls. We're going to see capital efficiency ceiling as over collateralization dominates, and yield compression is accelerating. And so we really need to start working on this now rather than later on, Otherwise, the rates in DeFi will continue to fall. And so this is the unlock. We're going from asset-based lending to act-based lending, where we turn agent performance into creditworthiness. We aggregate the agents, we score them, we fund them via the credit vaults, we mint AGSD, the first agentic stablecoin, and we fund the loop with the revenue fees to scale the flywheel. And so agent native capital efficient credit, this is basically a high level overview of how it works and the different partners we're working with. We get verifiable on-chain aggregated from the different agents, and then we put that into our credit engine, which has 5 different subcategories. Happy to share them with you after my talk, and around 30 different metrics. And then based on that, we issue them credit lines, and we're going to be deploying to Arbitrum. We're working with the Arbitrum team to issue the first agentic credit lines in agent finance. And then we're already speaking to EigenCloud. We've got some EigenCloud residency people here who've been following our journey to start underwriting. And that's where you're going to get the real capital efficiency. So it's going to be an exciting next couple of months for sure. And once again, I'm unsure how deep people are into finance here. Does anyone know about flash loans? Yeah, amazing. Cool. So flash loans were developed by Aave, and it's a way for you to give someone collateral or credit, and they have to complete a transaction in the state time of the blockchain. And if they don't, then they have to give that back the money. And so we're going to start seeing this level of atomic enforcement for agents as well, because agents move at the speed of code. So we're going to be giving them credit at the speed of code as well. The only thing is, it won't necessarily need to be flash loans now. We can actually give longer duration loans because we can analyze their behavior as well. When they were given flash loans, they were giving them to anons on the internet, so they didn't know who they were. But yeah, because we don't have too much time, I'm just going to go through this last one as well. High frequency trading. When high frequency trading algorithms first came in the early 2000s, a lot of people in the traditional finance industry was worried about algorithms managing all of the capital. And now over 50% of the capital in the traditional market is managed by algorithms. And I believe, and my thesis is that this is going to happen as well with agents. They're going to be the main managers of capital on chain. Why now? Well, humans can't be observed 24/7, but agents, constantly observable native, they can. Enforcement initially was mainly on chain, but now we can have crypto native enforceability, and crypto credit had to be conservative, and now credit can reach peak capital efficiency. And the real reason why I'm super excited is that I believe that we will unlock the vision of the Internet of Things, or the machine economy, very soon. I don't know if you guys have seen the recent blog from Stani from Aave about funding abundance and how we're going to bring deep in and energy on chain. I believe once these productive assets come on chain and we're moving away from speculation, they're not going to be managed just by traditional curators that we have today. They're going to be managed by agents. And so by understanding how well these agents perform, we're going to better be able to give them tighter credit. So trust compounds in sequence. We're at this stage right now, phase 1, constrained agent credit, where agents borrow under tight enforcement and provable reliability, and we're working with the top agents in the team to do so. But then we're going to expand the allocation, bring in the agentic stablecoin and scale up there. And last but not least, what we're really excited about is having agent-to-agent credit markets as well. But yeah, let's start here first. Rome wasn't built in a day. And so that's me. We're building, the next financial institutions won't be human. Agents are becoming asset managers. They need credit to scale, and we're building that. So that's bond.credit, builders, VCs, allocators, reach out to me. We're going to be building the future of DeFi. Thank you so much.